Well, hello and welcome back. If you are continuing along, sort of going in order, then last episode we talked about using Postman to work with an API. And so we had that up. We would do stuff like, for example, we would post and we give it a, let's give it an address like this one. We're going to take that and we're going to turn around and we're going to give it that address. And when we post it, it's going to send us back a shortened URL. It's in our logic here in Shorty. That basically all it does is just each time it's going to give us another ID counter. We have done this separately, but right now we're doing it just in a very simple thing. So if I come into get, if I get it with a 0, it gives me one that was there a minute ago. If I give it with a 1, then it gives me, whoops. Why did you give me the same thing? Interesting. So we're going to take this address and let's just put it here for now. And let's take another one. We'll go back to there and we'll do our Calendly one because that's a big nasty one. So those are two we're going to work with. So let's work with those real quick. Let's get this fixed and figure out why it's not working. So if I come in and I run and I post with, so if I add the first one, well, let's add this one. And there we go. It tells me what that is. So now if I post the second one, should give me both. Yep. So if we look here, oh, for some reason it was grabbing an older one. Where is it grabbing that from? Oh, I wonder if that's params instead of body. Ah ha ha ha. That's our problem. That's not what we want. So we don't want it to be here. We want it to be here. Is that right? This is the post. Okay. Let's try this. Nope. Form data. There we go. Okay, so that's what we want. That's why it wasn't working. So now if I send that, so short 2 should get me the Calendly one. And if I go back over here, this is why we got to keep track of what we're doing. And here we go. And short 3 should give us this one. So we're posting that. And so if we do short 0, I think that was, I don't remember what that one was. That was that quick start. 1 is going to be the quick start thing. There you go. 2 is going to be the Calendly, and then 3 gives us the RB site. Okay. So what we want to do now is we're going to build a little application to grab, to basically do the call so that we can actually see that. So we're going to call this thing, let's make this caller .py. And then we're going to need to do a couple things to get ourselves set up to make that call out to our API. Now the easiest way to do this is to take a look at the get, as I showed you before. And if we come over here, we're going to cheat, is if we do Python with requests, watch what's going to happen. If I come into here, so I'm going to import requests, which I think is already there. Let's see. So now if I do Python 3, caller, boom. So notice that I'm getting the same thing here that I got here. So if you want a shortcut, that's the best way to go. But let's examine this a little bit. So we're going to actually turn this into something a little more useful. And so a requester, we request is going to be, let's make it pretty, how do we want to do this? This is a good question. We can either store it or we can do something with it. So let's go ahead for now, and we're going to actually do we're actually put this together a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to call base URL, and it's going to be equal to that guy, and it's going to get us all the way up to, let's do here. We're going to actually break this down a little bit, and then we're going to have the let's see, get short. Let's do the short endpoint, which is just going to be shorten. Now this is going to be for the get. This is going to be a little different when we do the put, and we'll show that in a minute. So what we want to do here is we're going to do, let's see, the URL equals input which URL do you wish to use, and then we're going to have a little function that we're going to call get result, get short, call it get real URL. Let's do get full URL. And what it's going to do is it's going to take a URL. Let's push these up here. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to take this stuff. Notice we don't need to worry about a payload or headers. This would be if you were doing something like, let me do this real quick. If you're doing something like having form data or something, which we're going to show in a minute when we do the post. So we're going to come in here. We're going to say which URL do you wish to use, and then it's going to take the URL, and this is going to be pretty simple. Response.text, and which is assuming we probably are going to want to wrap some stuff around it, but we'll check that in a minute. So print, let's see, get full URL, the URL. So now if we do this and we say what is URL you wish to use, and so we could use short 3, and it's going to blow up because it doesn't like what we sent it. So let's go take a look at this, because this is going to be where we're going to start running into some issues. So let's go look at it. So let's see, blah, 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 connection refused. Oh, wait. Whoops. Oh, that's the problem, is because here, let's see, so URL is actually going to be, so the, let's call that API URL. Oops. So it's going to be equal to base URL plus the short endpoint. Whoops. If I can write that. Oh, there we go. That's it. Short endpoint. And so that gives me that plus short. And then I'm going to need to do plus URL equals. And then I'm going to add the URL. So now if I run it, let's do this. Now if I run it with a 3, boom, it gives me that. If I run it with a, if I run it and I do same thing and I give it a 2, then notice I get a different, let's do it again. So if I do that, and if I call it with a 3, notice I either get the HTTPS or I get this one. So I get something a little bit different from each of these. Now what I want to do here is now I want to take this out, because in an API call, what you want to do is you want to have something that's a little more valuable, essentially, in an API. You don't want to just send strings back like this. So what we really want to do here is we're going to come in and we'll hold this off until our next episode. We're going to talk about cleaning these up a little bit. But what you've got here is our, where'd that go? Caller. So this is going to be the get full URL. But now what we want to do is we're going to do something similar that is going to be get shortened URL. And now for this, we're still going to cheat because this is so easy to do. So we're going to come over here for the post, which there we go. We're going to take that, and it's going to look about the same. But what you're going to see here return response.text. So you're going to see the same kind of thing, except because it's the URL is going to be the same combo. So we can do it like this. We don't need that. We already have requests up at the top, so we don't need that again. Our payload now is going to be, and so this is that form. We're setting the URL equal to the URL that they send in. So this is where we have a payload. We don't have to worry about any files. We're not sending those in. We're not sending anything that's a header of any sort. So we're come in and make this the API URL. But because it's a post, we're going to go ahead and do that just to be clean. We could send some of these things and work with them. That's beyond what we're going to talk about at this point. And they're going to return the response text. So now if I come in and say, let's see. So we're going to do that. We're going to print it. And then we're going to come out and say, which URL do you wish to shorten? And then it's going to do get shortened URL. We'll do the URL again. So now, first one we do, we'll just do, let's get number 4 and see what that was. So we get number 4, boom, then that's what it was. But if we take this long thing, here and say that's what we want to shorten, then we're going to get short 5. So now to see, do we get that back? If we call short 5, which is this, we can just take this. And, and then it kicked it back here. This is what you sent, short 5. This is the actual URL. Okay. So we have fairly easily, and this is the breakdown of what we do, is with requests, all you have to do, if you note, is you're going to, on requests, make a request. Tell it the type, and we'll talk another time about various types that are out there. You send it to whatever its address is. In this case, it's our API address. Send some headers if you need to. Payload, which you might need to do, like, for example, in a form. And then it's going to send you a response back based on whatever is returned by that API call. So this is really simple. And as I mentioned before, and I've shown you, if you want to use Postman, that is going to be the fastest way to get you just like flying through, setting up both sides and testing your API, which what we want to do with our shortener here is to just get this thing working, because then we can put it out on our server and have our own little API, our own little URL shortener that we're going to need. So we're going to come back next episode, or we're going to clean these things up a little bit and start tying them back into the database. But for now, go out there and have yourself a great day, and we will talk to you next time.
Well, hello, this is Rob with Developreneur, also known as Building Better Developers. Wanted to announce that we have school.developreneur.com. Feel free to check it out if you like any of this information, any of the content that we've sent, and you would like to see more. You can come out, you can enroll for free. We have free courses. We've got places for you to get better at just learning a technology, our how-tos. You can work on your business skills. We can help you with becoming a better developer, as in coding and things like that. A lot of the stuff you've seen on YouTube, we also have out at school.developreneur. Developreneur. We just have it in a little more of a educational format and a way for you to track your progress as you move forward becoming a better developer.